Okay, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. All right, testing again, testing. One last test. How's everybody doing? Red is sleepwalking. Why are you sleepwalking? How are you even chatting to us? Alrighty folks, welcome back to a, this time a surprise Saturday stream. I actually had scheduled this earlier today, but I was planning on doing it all along, actually. This is the PC version of Megaman X5, or specifically Rockman X5. But with a twist. So I've actually streamed Megaman X5 before, probably about 2 years ago, but this version, much like Megaman X6 I did last year, is the Korean PC version. So it's mostly the same as the North American one as far as I can tell. The big difference is that this game offers a software renderer, which the North American version does not. There's just a straight bilinear filter, or some kind of filter. It might not even be bilinear because it's so nasty in the North American version. You can actually turn that off in the Korean version. Now, with some caveats, there are certain parts of the game where if you do that, the game crashes. And that's one reason I really wanted to show off this version of the game. So anyone that's interested in trying this game out, this specific version on original era hardware, you know, I wanted this to be an example of what issues you might run into while trying to play through the game while running the software renderer. So we are actually in the software renderer right now, but if we hit F7, it'll actually switch back over to the DirectX renderer, which makes everything look really, really soft. Now, there are a couple of stages in the game and a couple of points in very specific stages where we either have to re-enable the filter to avoid crashes, or we have to re-enable the filter to avoid massive slowdown issues. So it's not, you know, being able to go do the software render is not perfect by any means, but the game looks so much better with the nice crisp look, especially on an old CRT like I'm running right here. So we are running this game on actual era appropriate hardware. It's a 2000 AMD CPU with 2000 era hardware. The only thing that's newer than that is the GPU, which is from 2005, I believe. We are running Windows 98. Again, this is all real hardware. If we get crashes, you guys will be able to see, you know, the Windows 98 boot up screen and all that stuff. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because when it happens, that just sets our progress back quite a bit. But yeah, this should be a fun time. Now, I beat this game twice this past week. It took me a little while to get back into the groove of things, because Megaman X5 is one of my least played of the X games. And, you know, I practiced it a couple years ago, beat it a couple times then did a live stream, and it's been years, you know, it's been those some odd years since I've played the game. And so this is not going to be like an expert kind of run. I'm not a Megaman X5 aficionado. I'm not going to be able to tell you what all the items do and stuff like that, but I am going to be able to, you know, give you some basics if you've never played this game before, and if you're trying to get into it, this stream should help you get up to speed pretty quickly. But yeah, I'm not an encyclopedia of Megaman X5 knowledge, so if you're gonna watch this after the fact, please be nice in the comments. And yeah, so yes, not a Megaman X5 aficionado, but I do like the game. I actually, you know, funny enough, I didn't really like this game all that much. I bought it when it came out back in the day. Wasn't too impressed with it, and I beat it a couple times, and then it was probably 15 years until I bothered to play it again for my YouTube channel. And but it's grown on me. It is a fun game. It's certainly, you know, not bad. I don't think it's the best X game of the first 6, but I do think it's still a solid game. If you like the other Mega Man X games, you probably want to play it. My biggest issue with this game, as you guys will see over the course of this playthrough, is the extreme amount of padding if you want to try to get everything. So if you want to get all your heart tanks, it requires you to get to basically piece together two separate different types of armor just to access heart tanks. It's really kind of annoying, to be honest with you. The original Mega Man X did it so well, where a lot of the heart tanks were just right out in the open, you know, kind of like secret areas right out in the open, but they didn't require, in a lot of cases, they didn't require upgrades to get them. Maybe sometimes a specific boss weapon, but you could just, you know, a lot of times, it was just so much easier to get them in the original game. Original Mega Man X. So X5 just really pads things out, and which is actually kind of like the flip side of Mega Man X4, where getting your heart tanks and stuff is relatively easy as well, much like Mega Man X1. So I feel like X1 and X4 compared to X5 flow so much better than X5. But it's still a fun game. You don't have to get all the heart tanks if you want to. You can try to challenge yourself and not get all the upgrades and then go straight to Sigma. One thing that is cool about this, you can even just play as Unarmored X to start, or play as Armored X. We're going to play as Armored X for the whole playthrough on this one. I think I might have done Unarmored X in my last X5 stream, come to think of it. So you do have multiple ways to challenge yourself in this game, at least. So since a lot of the heart tanks and some of the upgrades are kind of like roadblocks or behind, you know, behind roadblocks, you know, it's harder to get them, and so you actually are kind of incentivized more to not get them if you want the game to go by quickly. But we're gonna go ahead and get everything, I believe everything, all the heart tanks, all the armor upgrades, and yeah, we'll play through the game that way. Red upgraded his membership to $4 support. Thank you, Red. You don't have to do that, man. I know how you are with money, dude. I'm totally okay with you just doing like a $1 tier. All the tiers for my YouTube channel memberships, they get you the same thing. Like, you know, you can do $1, $2, $3, $4, $5. Anything above $1 is just being extra generous. And I do truly appreciate it. But don't feel like you guys have to give me, you know, don't feel like you have to pledge at a high support tier. But thanks a lot, Red. I appreciate it. So speaking of which, yeah, thanks to everyone that is continuing to support my channel, like Red over there, including our Patreon backers, our fine folks over there, as well as our super chatters and channel members. So lately on these live streams, I've been trying to avoid doing the shoutouts if we don't have anything new to announce. I do still do the, you know, the slides at the very ends of my stream. But if I get, you know, extra, you know, like new donors and things like that, I will definitely shout them out towards the beginning, so you guys, you know, get your credit. So big shout out to Jeff Smith and Stephen Keller, who actually did super chat donations on my Thursday stream, which was Castlevania Area of Sorrow. And big shout outs again to Adam Pearson and James Campbell, who both joined up as channel members. James rejoined, so thanks for coming back on board, James. I appreciate it. And big shout out again to Red, who actually upgraded his channel membership on the last stream, and then he just upgraded it again. So thanks a lot, Red. I appreciate it, dude. So let's scroll through the chat here before we start playing the game. So Catherine, what's going on? Yeah, Catherine says hunting for all the armor upgrades is a pain. Yes, it is. When you know where everything is, you know, you can rat out the game and go through it pretty smoothly, but there are a couple of moments of extra padding, like this guy down here. You have to go through his stage 3 times if you want to get everything, and it's an auto scroller, and it's really slow. really annoying. So there are some really bad design choices in this game in that regard that just annoy me. Like, I'm not 15 anymore. I don't have all the time in the world. I don't want to play through a stage that's an auto-scroller 3 times to get the upgrades. But it's a Mega Man X game. You have to get the upgrades. I mean, you don't have to, but it's Mega Man X. You get all the upgrades. That's what you do in a Mega Man X game. You get all the upgrades. That's part of the appeal of the Mega Man X games, is getting all the upgrades. If I don't want upgrades, I'll just go play classic Mega Man, right? Right, guys? Am I right? Right. We'll just pretend like I'm right. So, Elvaz, welcome back. So, we got James out there. We got Mario Mania, Pal Puck, Phoenix, Crestline, Game Eagle, and John Smith, and Office. Hopefully Office is still out there. Office and I were having a good conversation before we started. And I do apologize, guys, for starting the stream late. I had scheduled it for 9 p.m. and here it is, pretty much 10 p.m. as we're starting. Okay, so this is, what you're seeing here is basically I've completed most of the game and we can go to the Sigma stages. But what I'm going to do is actually hit F9 on the keyboard here, which will take us over to the title screen. Now, I believe if I hit F8... we can actually play in windowed mode if we really wanted to. So there you go. You can actually see my background here. This is actually my Windows games folder. These are all the Windows CD games I have. I have a lot of... These are all games I actually own on CD, by the way. These are all... I'm not using, like, you know, copy discs or anything. And just for anybody curious that's watching after the fact, this is, you know, the actual... system properties screen. So yeah, 768 megs of RAM, Athlon XP 3000 plus, and there's our device manager. Just for some people are really interested in this stuff. So unfortunately, I have a conflict here, and I still haven't figured this one out. But yeah, actual Windows 98, and we're running the actual CD version of the Korean Megaman X5. So what's funny is the packaging actually says Megaman X5. But the title says Rockman X5, and all the text, I believe, is in Korean. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and we have to do a couple things here. Did I pre-order Doom Eternal? Not yet, no, but I will. So what we're going to do is just start a brand new game here, and you just use the top option. Now, you do have an options menu, but I need to actually configure my controls, but we will do that in a little bit. So I'm going to actually turn the filter back on for this first level, because I think sometimes if you disable the filter or go into the software renderer, it actually doesn't render certain foreground elements sometimes. Like on the fire stage, we actually have to re-enable the filter, otherwise the transparent fire effects are gone, and they're pretty much mandatory for you to understand or to know where you're going. So while you can do the software renderer, again, like I said in the beginning, it's not perfect, and I've played this game enough to where I know where I need to enable it or disable it and so on and so forth. But I prefer to do software rendering as much as I can because the game just looks so much better. When I got the North American version of this, I was super disappointed at how bad it looked. Because I came right off PC X4, which we streamed last year, and that game just looks super sharp on PC. PC is the best way to play Mega Man X4, at least in terms of from hardware back in the day. You might be better off playing the X Legacy Collection version these days on a modern HD display. But if you're playing on old hardware, PC X4 is the best way to play that game. PC X5 is the exact opposite. It's the worst way to play the game. So you're better off just playing the actual PS1 version. But, so we're going to go ahead and pick X, and we'll let the story roll out here. Well, we're not going to let it roll out. We're just going to go ahead and skip through it. And I'm not going to really explain it either. It's all in Korean, so yeah. Just going to go ahead and skip it. Hey, John Evan Bear, welcome back. And Libor Arts Guy, 2-for-1 deal. How are you guys doing? Okay, so we're on the first stage now. Now, the first thing I have to do is I'm actually using a PS1 Classic controller. Basically, the controllers that come with Sony's PS1 Classic mini console. And these are excellent for playing classic games, classic 2D games and whatnot. And they work in Windows 98. You don't have to actually do anything. You just plug it right in. Windows detects it like it's a standard generic game controller. And it recognizes every single button on the controller. So what I need to do is actually come down here to the control screen. We press circle to access it. And this is actually kind of tricky to figure out. So you have to know what each of these does, and you need to know what those numbers do on the right-hand side. Now, for anybody curious that's planning on playing this for the first time, if you go to your control panel, so let's go to Start, we go to Settings, we go to Control Panel, and you go to Gaming Options. This is in Windows 98, mind you, and it just recognizes it as a generic controller. Now, if you go to Properties, you can actually press every key on the controller, and it'll basically line up each key with a specific number, including Start and Select, and you can use the D-pad as well to do that. So what I did is I basically mapped out every single key on a piece of paper. Button number 1 is triangle, button number 2 is circle, button number 3 is X, 4 is square, so on and so forth. And so what I've done is I've taken that and it maps out to the game. So 4, 1, 2, so on and so forth. Now I have to know what those controls do in game, and so I know by default they have square is attack, so square is 4, so this top one is attack. 1 is triangle. Triangle is jump. So what I need to do is press X to change that to X, because I prefer X to jump. And then circle, again, is number 2. So that's dash. I'm fine with that. I'm basically changing these to the default PlayStation controls. The next big one is triangle. So now we've got... this one is mapped to L2, and that's the default special weapon button. So I need to change that to triangle. And then we just hit enter, and now I'm good to go. So now I've got my control set up just like the PS1 version of the game, and we can go ahead and just start playing it like it's the PS1 version of the game. So now as far as actual gameplay differences and whatnot, I don't really think there's much of a change, you know, to the PS1 original. If any changes, other people that are much more experienced with these PC conversions will have to chime off in the comments section. But the biggest thing is just the software render, and that was really why I wanted to show this version off. Oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, so now we're just going to play through the game regularly. It's Megaman X5. So one of the big downsides to X5 is Alia, one of your cohorts, basically is constantly reaching out to you as you play the game. And she stops you mid-game, like right here. Oh, X, watch out, there's a pit down below. That platform's gonna fall, oh no! And you have to, you can't just hit start to skip through it all. You have to just like mash the buttons really quickly. So that's one of the things that really sucks about Mega Man X5 yeah, Alia constantly popping up and getting in your way and stopping the flow of the gameplay. But you just you learn to just kind of mash your triggers through it and then just ignore it. So this is our first boss here. It's Sigma. And you just have to shoot it in the mouth, and then you have to do one thing that's actually new to the series. Ducking. You can actually duck in this game. This was the first of the X games where you can duck, and I haven't seen that pattern yet. That was weird. Of all the times I've played this, that was the first time I've seen this pattern. So normally he just does, he's doing a totally different pattern than I'm used to. What are you doing, Sigma? You're weirding me out here. Come on, Sigma. There you go. Normally he does this attack, and you can just charge up, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so you just press down to duck. And X is about the same height ducking as he is when he's dashing. So when he dashes, he's, again, the same height as he is when he's ducking. So we just duck, charge, just like so, and he's dead. Sometimes he'll do like an insta-beam laser, where it's just a big laser comes out. And Joseph, hey, welcome back, Joseph. So Joseph used to be a channel member, and so now he's back. So thank you very much, Joseph. I appreciate it, dude. Hey, Game Freak, well, welcome. Thanks for joining up on the live stream. And thank you, Catherine. I appreciate it. Coronavirus, no. Not a joking matter, though. Not a joking matter. Apparently, my mom told me today, apparently 800 people have died from that so far over in China. And apparently, one of the people that basically discovered it has also died, which is quite a shame. So... but that's all I'll say, you know, in regards to that, because that's a depressing topic. Speaking of which, I do need to blow my nose, actually, so... I will mute the mic for a second. Okay, back to button mashing. So, I don't remember exactly what the story is. Like, I don't remember if it's some kind of space station that's infected or something. But basically, the gist of the game is, story-wise, is you have this laser turret that you need to piece together. And then you need to fire it at the space station and hope that it destroys the space station or damages it enough or something like that. Depending on whether it actually works or not, determines, I guess, the course of the story and, you know, the potential ending you can get in the game. So what the game wants you to do is actually play the left-hand side first. Every boss in the game houses a piece of either the laser, which is the first half of the story, or the space shuttle, which is the second half if the laser fails. So what they want you to do is fight the left guys first. All the left guys house pieces for the laser that we see here on the left. But you can still actually piece together the space shuttle as well first if you wanted to. So it is kind of neat, but to me personally, it's not really necessary for a Mega Man game, but whatever. It is what it is. So, the first one I'm going to do is, it really doesn't matter which way I go. I think I'm going to start with our whale. And we can actually play as Unarmored X, we can play as the Force Armor or Fourth Armor X, or we can play as Zero. We're not going to play as Zero, we're just going to do strictly his Fourth Armor. Basically, this is his armor from Megaman X4, and we're going to just stick with this for the whole game. Not playing Zero at all actually kind of gives me an excuse to do a follow-up stream later on a different version of this game, probably the X Legacy Collection, with just Zero, and that could be fun, so... Hey, Kazuya, nope, just started. So yeah, you do have a time limit. You have like 15 days. Is it days or is it hours? I think it's actually hours. I don't know. I really don't know because this is the first time I played X5 in years, and obviously this version is pretty much completely in Korean, so I assume it's hours. I thought it was days at first, but I think it's hours actually. So every time you beat a boss, it uses up like an hour or two or something like that. Again, like I said, I'm not a super expert at this, and I don't want anyone coming into this stream expecting me to be. But honestly, I honestly could care less. I just don't really care. I play Mega Man games for the Mega Man action. I don't play them for the story or all those little extra details. I really do not care. There are a lot of Mega Man X players out there, though, that love that stuff. I don't understand it myself. Again, I grew up with classic Mega Man. There was pretty much very little story in-game, and when there was, you know, you could skip through it relatively quickly. It was very light on story overall. It wasn't until the X series where story became a major part of the series. And the story elements got quite overbearing by X5. They really started to hammer home the story in X5. Now, I liked the story in X4. What I liked even more about the story in X4, though, is you could skip through pretty much all of it. In X5, not only is there a lot of story, but there's also a lot of hand-holding as well, thanks to Alia. So for this guy right here, you just need to wait for the turret to come out. I guess it's technically always out. But you can actually just stand and attack it as long as it's firing. You'll notice that it's actually bouncing up and down. You can't actually hit it if it's not bouncing up and down if you're just standing on the ground. So I'm going to shoot, it missed. But if I wait for it to bounce up and down, it'll actually connect because he's actually moving a little bit lower, just low enough to hit my shot or to run into my shot. And by the way, I just woke up too, guys, so I am still waking up. So if I mispronounce things or say things incorrectly, it's because I'm still waking up. My brain is still starting to warm up. We'll do better by the end of the stream, I'm sure. Yeah, so I wanted to start with this stage because, again, we have to come back to this level pretty much 3 times. The first time is to go and actually fight the boss. The second time is to get our capsule. The third time is to get our heart tank. It's just a really, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain. I don't want this to be a complaining live stream, which, with games like these, it's very easy to turn the live streams into complaining streams, because some of these design choices are very questionable. Yeah, so for me, I love the straightforward nature of X1 and X4. X2 and X3, you know, they require a little more work to get all the upgrades, but they're still not nearly as bad as this game. So it's just, you know, it would be one thing if this was like the first Mega Man X game, and then they refined the process. The issue is Mega Man X1 started off so refined that the refinement went downhill as the games progressed, I found. And, that's a little frustrating. You expect series to get better as they go on, but in the case of Mega Man X, they just it started off really strong, and then kind of slowly went downhill, and then had a steep decline after that, if you ask me. Now, everyone's got different opinions about, you know, what the best X games are and what their favorite X games are and whatnot. But yeah, some of the design choices in this game really do stick out like a sore thumb compared to some of the other Mega Man X games. So that's all I'll say to that. I already said once I'm not going to complain, and there I went and just complained. So, not complain. These are observations. These are observations. I should not feel bad about observing as I play this game. Hey, Society, welcome back, dude. How are you doing? Why the Korean version? We're playing the Korean version because the North American version does not have a software renderer, and so this filtered look you see here, you can only do, like, you're stuck with it the entire game in the North American version. Now I have to leave the filter on, otherwise the game will crash when the capsule appears, and I think it's due to, I don't know the reason for it, but it seems like when you're in the software renderer, the game doesn't have the capability of overlaying the Korean text, because I noticed that the Korean text is in a totally different resolution than the software renderer. And I think that, you know, it's just not capable of rendering that without DirectX support. So basically what's happening when you're doing software renderer, it's basically turning off DirectX in-game. And then it re-enables it as, you know, when you re-enable the filter. So I think that's what's happening, and that's why it crashes when you use the software renderer. And I think that's actually probably why they took out that option in the North American one, because they didn't want people, like, switching over to software and then just having it randomly crashing. I would have preferred them to just redo all the text and have it display at, you know, 240p or whatever, that, you know, 320 by 200 or 240 that this game originally rendered at on PS1. But, you know, whatever. Design choices. But yeah, I wanted to show off this version because, one, it's obscure, and two, you know, you do have the option to play it in a filtered mode, or unfiltered mode, I should say. And so what we're doing here is this guy's got a core on the outside. You notice that it comes back, and then when it comes back, it regenerates his shield. So we just have to watch out for these guys down here. If you have this 4th armor, your charge attack will actually destroy these turrets, just like so. So what I do is I sit on one side of the screen and, you know, let that destroy the turrets. Although left side is probably better for destroying some of the turrets. Kind of, maybe not. I'm just pulling stuff out of my rear right now. Go. Last couple of hits. Now you have to watch out here because what happens is this submarine basically falls down below, and then if you fall down towards the bottom there, you'll actually die because the screen will not scroll back down. But yeah, the big thing is that you can turn off the filter, and we're going to go ahead and just leave the filter on for this boss fight. So there are two reasons why you need to turn the filter off, or sorry, turn the filter back on. One is the game can crash at specific moments. The other is that the frame rate just tanks if you're running in software mode. And then you can see that, well, you'll see what I mean by, oh, never mind. So yeah, this guy's actually fairly tough. He's one of the tougher bosses in the game, and this first phase actually really isn't too bad. And again, since we're just using the 4th armor, we've got no special sub-weapons or anything like that. It's just about charging over and over again. And if you're new to the X games, you'll get the charge timing down as you play the game and practice it more. The 4th armor can also air dash, as you can see, and he can also hover in the air. To hover in the air, you press the X button again, or the jump button again, when you're in the air. As long as you're not moving forward. No, you can do it when you're moving forward. It doesn't matter. I'm an idiot. I wasn't paying attention. I actually got screwed there because I did hover. What I was trying to explain is that, yeah, you just press X in the air again, or jump again, whatever you have the jump button mapped to. If you move forward, it looks like you don't actually have much time that you can stay in the air, but you can stay in the air quite a bit if you just sit in place, like so. Now, it does run out, so this is as long as I can do it. That's as long as I can do it right there. Now, if you press dash in the air, you can air dash, just like so. I generally prefer to dash on the ground and then just do a, you know, a long jump, basically, to move quickly. But there are specific moments in the game where just a straight air dash is very helpful, so. Alright, see you, Red. Take care, dude. Alright, so yeah, again, the hardest part of this fight is the second phase, where he shoots out these blocks relatively quickly, and then he can push you into the spike. So he's definitely the most dangerous of the normal bosses in this game. Now, Sigma, our, you know, our arch nemesis, he's got some pretty nasty stuff when you fight him, as you guys will see towards the end of the playthrough. But of the main bosses, this guy is definitely the hardest to deal with. Just like classic Mega Man games, spikes kill you instantly for the most part. There is an exception or two in the game. I'm just going to focus on this part. There we go. Got him. But yeah, that's definitely the hardest fight. Pretty much all the other fights are easier. Now, some bosses are relatively fast and difficult to avoid. But they don't usually do much damage to you as long as you're using an armored version of X. I think if you do unarmored X, they will do a lot more damage, and so the game is more challenging. But it's not Mega Man X6 levels of challenging, at least. Mega Man X6, Unarmored X, is really, really challenging mode. So what happens here is you kind of get ranked at the end of each level, and depending on how well you do, you'll get special items given to you, which can be applied to your armor and whatnot. So we'll get some items as we progress through this game. This is Dynamo right here. He appears twice in the game, and you have to fight him twice. I don't know if we have to fight him just yet. No, not just yet. Good. So, okay. Also, what you can do here is, as you get power-ups at the end of each level, or at the end of specific levels, depending on how well you do, you can select your armor and then equip those special items onto your armor, which will give you special abilities and whatnot. So here is Zero. Zero has 4 slots, which is really cool. Unarmored X, I think, has... Let's see. I don't think Unarmored X actually has any slots. Let's see. No, he's got 4 slots as well. That's actually really cool. Okay, good to know. Awesome. Alright, so I'm going to do this stage. This is actually a really tricky section, but you know what I can do is I can actually re-enable or disable my filter. So now we got a nice sharp look, and this is one of the other reasons I wanted to do this version on stream. Oops, I picked... I was looking at chat. I'm not paying attention. Pay attention, Austin. I don't think it's really going to matter. We'll just still try to play it with Unarmored X anyway. Oh, this is not the level I was thinking of. Okay. Well, we should actually be fine then. So we're going to go ahead and play out this level. Yeah, normally. So yeah, we got regular Unarmored X here. And we got our filter off, so it just looks so much nicer. Now we are going to have to come back here a couple of times, so we're going to get a fire weapon later. And a lot of times I like to get the fire weapon first, so I can come get this. This is an EX tank up there, which I think that basically just increases the amount of lives you start with on each level. Not really all that important. The reason that's not important is that you get infinite continues in this game. And, yeah, you get infinite continues in this game. And when you continue, you pretty much just continue back at the last checkpoint that you got to. They don't even send you all the way back. So there's not really much risk to dying in this game. And I'm going to intentionally take damage here because I don't really care. You get a lot of health refills in this game. So before anyone wants to comment, oh, you're such a terrible gamer, it's like, this is intentional. You know, if I wanted to try to go damageless, I would take my time. I don't really care that much. That's just kind of how I play a lot of Mega Man games. I'm not a speedrunner, but I do like to get through them. I'm gonna die. I'm not a speedrunner, but I do like to get through them quickly. I like to play them at a fast pace, even if that means, you know, taking damage when I could otherwise avoid damage. Like these guys right here. And there's an extra life. Don't really need it, but we just made up for that that life lost. So, okay, just go through here. But yeah, you will notice that X... Holy crap. Alright, I'm going to stop speeding through. And you know what I'm going to do is... I don't really feel like doing this anymore. Because I went to the wrong level to begin with. But let's go ahead and continue. Oh, that's a brand new game. My bad. We hit escape. And let's do this. Second option is continue. This is going to take us right back here. I'm going to start over because I didn't even want to play that level to begin with. I wanted to go to the speeder bike level. That was my intent. So, let me pick the speeder bike level without looking at chat. So I actually picked the right character I want. And there we go. Am I going to use special weapons? Sometimes. Yeah, I'll use them sometimes. Mainly on Sigma. Probably not going to use them in the main game themselves. Alright, so this is a really tricky part of the game. And what we have to do is we have to get all of these orbs. And I missed the first one, so... And, so we're going to end up probably doing this multiple times here. This is a really tricky part. And for some reason, X keeps jumping forward. I'm going to turn the filter back on. I find that when you turn the filter on, it feels like it's a little more responsive. So let's go ahead and try this again. I noticed it was stuttering with the filter off. And this is one of the problems with playing the Korean version and doing the software renderer is that it's far from perfect, and I missed it again. If I miss one, I have to kill myself and start over. So this level always takes me time to get the hang of, no matter how well practiced I am. So there we go. We go there, we go here, we jump up here, just like so, and another one. This is a tricky part right here. So I mash, mash, jump, mash, 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 and then dash like that. Dash again, got it. Whew. It's the timing is so tight on that. Everybody dies on that part. It's pretty ridiculous. Okay, so now with that, all those orbs you got, they're basically energy shots, and they bust down this wall. And there's going to be a capsule in here. So, hey Clifton, welcome back, dude. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, I think everybody hates this stage. So, unlike previous X games, when you get a capsule, nothing is equipped. You have to actually get 4 capsules for the specific type of armor that they're there for, and that assembles the armor. Then you can actually use the armor. So for this part right here, you have to hit these things. These are basically like interactive switches, sort of. You have to shoot them until they lock shut, and then the door opens, and that's pretty much the gist of the rest of this level. And I'm just gonna skip through stuff where I can. Not a fan of these little robot guys down here. They take a little while to kill, so I'm just gonna tank my way through them, just like so. And Alia, I already know Alia. You don't have to tell me. I've got eyes, and I've already done one of these puzzles so far. Yes, X5 is very, very hand-holdy, which, as someone who had played, I don't know, like 10 other Mega Man games before this game came out, actually make it more like 13 or 14 when you add in the Game Boy games, The hand-holding nature was kind of a slap to the face when this came out. It was clear that the developers were trying to get new players involved, but they alienated all the old players at the same time, which was very disappointing. You know, it would have been nice if you could just hit start, or you know what, just have an option in the main menu that said turn off alien notifications or something like that. But no, they went the all or nothing approach, unfortunately, and alienated a lot of the old players. You know, I'm complaining again, but it's really hard to get over that fact. I wish, and I don't know if anyone's done this, and I actually don't think they have, is patch out all the alias stuff. Like, if someone ever does a hack with this game, I would absolutely love to see that. And it would actually improve the quality of the experience so much more. To where this would actually be a fairly, you know, I don't know. I wouldn't say it would I still wouldn't say it would be like one of the best X games, but it would be much, much better. And I would view it in a much, much greater light if being able to disable that was a thing. Megaman X6 handled the navigators better too, Clifton, as well, where, like, you know, she wouldn't stop you mid-game. She would say something at the very beginning of the stage, and then that was it. Every other part in the game, there would be an exclamation mark that would pop up or something like that, and you can call into Alia and get the tips. So it was optional, and that was a great way to handle it. And if they handled it like that in this, I think that would have been fairly welcome. But yeah, I mean, I'm always for giving the player the option. If you're gonna stop the gameplay, it was like DuckTales Remastered, where they stop the player like every 5 minutes. Whereas, you know, you go back and play the NES game right after, you're like, this is so much better. Like, I have full control over what's happening. You know, I'm not being stopped for arbitrary reasons. Like, the flow of the game isn't interrupted, you know? That's the big problem with the alias stuff in this game, is the flow of the game is just interrupted big time. And Mega Man games in general, even the classic ones, are all about flow. It's all about the momentum, that pacing. It's what makes them so good. Keeping that momentum going. And then when your momentum is stopped like 5 or 6 times a level, it's a major buzzkill. It's a buzzkill. It's what it is. So... Hey, K-Dogs, how's it going, dude? Yeah, there is randomness to how the endings are achieved as well. Yeah. Like, you could start the game and I think fire the laser immediately and have it hit. And then you don't even have to play the rest of the game. I mean, on the other hand, that does make the game interesting. I will give it that. But I definitely hear that complaint, Clifton, for sure. Hey, Jose, welcome back, dude. X5 has to be have your favorite soundtrack in the series. Nice. It's not my favorite, but I do enjoy some of the music, definitely. Like, I really like that Sigma stage select theme that we had in the very beginning of the stream. Definitely one of my favorite tracks in the game. So yeah, this is Dynamo. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the filter back off. I'm trying to be very careful with the filter because I don't want the game to crash on this, because if it crashes, that means we have to redo entire levels over again. So Dynamo, you know, he's a one-on-one fight, and he's not too terribly difficult on his first form. You have to watch out for him jumping over towards you. And then when he does that, like this, you want to just dash underneath it. Now, Dynamo's second form, the second time you fight him, is much more difficult, but still not too bad overall. Well, depending on your skill level, I guess. Just gonna... He's not really doing a whole lot here, which is nice. Oops, I misread that pattern. I keep waiting for him to jump over, because his jump is pretty quick, and just like that, I have a tendency of just misreading it and then getting hit by it. So I will say, of all the Mega Man X games, X5 is probably one of the ones I'm actually like the worst at in terms of, you know, playing well. I don't know the patterns well enough. And so I take a lot of unnecessary hits. But if you play it with like the fourth armor, it's, hey, you know, you have very high defense with it, and so you don't take a whole lot of damage. So you can actually get away with being very sloppy in this game with the 4th armor. K-Dogs is getting ready for work. Right on, dude. Yeah, K-Dogs is like me. He's a night shifter. And you work Saturday night, too. That's a bummer. What days off do you have, K-Dogs? Do you have, like, a set schedule each week, or are you, like, kind of on some weird rotating schedule where it changes? Okay, let's go ahead and come on back to this level. We'll go ahead and try it again, this time with the correct armor. I wanted to play with the same armor for the whole playthrough, up until the end, where we get the Falcon armor, and then I switch over to Falcon for the rest of the playthrough. No, it's not Dynamo Man from the VGA Mega Man game. Or MS-DOS Mega Man game. So down here is actually a Reploid we can save. Now the Reploids I don't think actually give you anything in this game. Oh my god. They don't give you any special items in this game like they do in X6. That was the thing I really liked about getting the Reploids in X6, is they gave you your special items. But they do give you an extra life every time you find them. So we're up to 7 lives right now. This is one of those levels where we do find a couple of Reploids laying about. But the speeder bike level that we had played, that's the level with the most amount of Reploids in it. So if you're the kind of person that wants to try to get a 1 credit clear on the game, if that's important to you for some reason, you know, you can go to that stage first and pound out, you know, get all those Reploids and get yourself some extra lives. So I'm just gonna wait here. Like I said, I was just not paying attention earlier. That is something I have, I'm guilty of doing on stream, is I just don't think, and so I end up playing a lot faster than I should, which ends up getting me killed on stream. And it is embarrassing. So there's another Reploid over there. We're up to 8 lives right now. Now, you do have the Sigma virus floating around. If someone wants to explain what that does, feel free to chime in the chat. I don't remember what it does. I want to say it just hurts you. At least when you're playing with X, it seems like it just hurts you. So basically, if you get absorbed by the Sigma, or if you absorb the Sigma virus enough times, your little meter on the bottom left will fill up. And then it doesn't kill you instantly. I don't know. I think it just does damage. I'm not sure. It might be different with Zero. But if you're just playing as X, it doesn't seem like it does a whole lot. Now, these, the Sigma virus was brought back in X6, but it was handled slightly differently. And you know, it's very interesting how it was handled in X6. Alright, so for this right here, we have to actually destroy the black turret. We just focus on the black ones right here. Little tricky. This is completely random. There's no rhythm or rhyme to it, so you can just get really bad patterns over and over, and that's very frustrating. Zero just absorbs them. It hurts X, but not Zero. Okay, so it just does damage, and that's it. Okay. Kind of an under, you know, a mechanic that's not really fleshed out all that well, I guess. I mean, if it just hurts you. But then again, I mean, there were a lot of instances where I could get hit there, so that, you know, for players that are brand new to this kind of game, that struggle with them, I could see that actually being an issue. But if you're an experienced Mega Man player in general, I don't think you're going to have issues with them. We're getting some really good patterns here. I'm not really having to work at all, which is nice. And there we go. EGA. Well, Mega Man on MS-DOS can also be displayed in CGA as well. It's not just EGA. You just call it the MS-DOS version. EGA and CGA, those are display types, display modes. Yeah, it's just the MS-DOS version. Oh, I actually can't... Oh, no. I wasn't thinking ahead of time. I'm an idiot. So we have to actually bust this open, which means we have to come back later. It's the second time we've had to do that on that level. So much for beating this game in a short period of time. I have to come here first because we need to get that capsule. And I need this weapon to get that capsule. Terrible, man. I am not thinking right now. I usually do this guy first, but I wanted to get the whale out of the way first because we had to do that stage 3 times. The reason we have to do it 3 times is you actually need the whale's weapon to get the capsule in his own level. It's so stupid. It's ridiculously stupid. And then when you see how you get the capsule, you just facepalm completely. Like, oh, it's dumb. I'll explain it when we get there. It's really dumb. Like I said, some of this game just was not thought out very well. It's very clunky. And like I said, I'm just going to speed through this stuff right here. So I like to charge up and just hit this turret or hit this laser weak point immediately. Yeah, and something else I meant to mention earlier is that the sound mixing in this version is not very good. You notice that some sound effects are extremely loud, and there is no control setting for that. The background music is not CD audio. It's audio embedded into the data files of the game. And so your sound effects and your music are tied to the same Windows sound source. So I can't adjust, say, CD audio separately from the sound effects. Did I get... Okay, no. There's going to be our first energy tank here as well at the end of this. So we want to make sure we get through this without dying. We want to grab the energy tank right here, just like so. And now we're on to the second half of the level. Oh, the more you get hit by them, the more the damage is over time. Okay, good to know, Clifton. Alright, I'm going to turn the filter back on real quick because we have to get a capsule. Sometimes the game likes to crash when a capsule appears if you don't have the filter on. Yeah, it's known that this was supposed to be the last one, but then Capcom was like, no, we need to crap out another. And that's where Megaman X5 came from. Yeah, so, like, I don't know, I would assume the team wasn't too passionate about doing another Mega Man, which is why 6 turned out the way it did. But you know what's funny? I actually would rather play 6 than 5, because, there's a lot more, like, legitimate challenge in 6, and you have a lot more flexibility about how to progress through the game and sequence break and stuff like that. Whereas in X5, if you want to get everything, you're playing it in a very rigid manner, and, you know, it gets repetitious. It's very, very highly padded. I also really like how the items are implemented in X6. So now, cross your fingers for me that this guy doesn't clip out of the arena. He's done that twice to me now. He clips outside the arena, and the game basically soft locks, and I have to restart. Let's see if we actually have any E-Tank energy. No, we don't. Okay. Not a very hard boss fight. You just want to keep moving. He likes to try to just appear wherever you are in the screen, either by drilling from you know, top to bottom, or coming up from the ground just like so. So you just want to keep moving to the left or right. I do enjoy the bosses in this game. They're not particularly challenging. Ow. Of course, right as I say that, I take a big ol' hit. Those are actually kind of difficult to avoid. But of course, you can try to duck under that. Only reason this is getting stressful is because I have no health. I was really sloppy coming into this fight, but we got it. Oh, Capcom's always been good at crapping stuff out. It's like it's Capcom's signature trait. I wish I could say high quality software was their main signature trait, but crapping stuff out, they've done it so much, that is actually what I know Capcom for these days. So I don't really care what I pick here. It doesn't really have a huge effect on the game. In the North American version, you can actually see what you're actually picking. But it doesn't really matter to me, so I'm not going to really focus on that mechanic too much here. Thanks for the GG. I appreciate it, Society. Alright, take care, James. Have a good night's rest. And I don't think I've gotten any items yet, but let's just check it out anyway. So, yeah, no items yet. They would actually appear down there. I don't even know why I selected my character. Okay, so now we can actually come back here and use that special item, or the boss weapon, to unlock our capsule on this level. And then what I'm probably going to do after this is go back to the whale stage to, I'm going to go back to the whale stage to get his capsule, to play his level the second time. And then at the end of the playthrough, we'll play his level a third time. So the Reploid should be down here again. I'm going to get that extra life. Did I really lose that many lives on the previous level? Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. You know, I'm starting to wonder if lives don't carry over, because I feel like I should have a lot more than 2 lives. Oh, I know why I don't have more than 2 lives. I quit. I reloaded my game. That's why. Okay, never mind. I forgot I've reloaded my game twice from this level. Oops. So one nice feature in these later X games is you can actually select your sub-weapon and then not use them. It's a really neat feature, actually, that I didn't really know much about until just recently, these last couple of years. I would always play it very traditional Megaman X style, where, you know, you select your sub-weapon and then, you know, that you're always using it. Oh, excuse me. I'm sneezing a lot tonight. I don't think I've sneezed at all this week. Until tonight. Spikes are dangerous in real life, but they're also much easier to avoid. Now, these spikes, ironically, they don't kill you in one hit. I think these are some of the only spikes in the game that don't kill you instantly. And Aelia basically pops up there to tell you that you can shoot that door down. It's so stupid. Like, every time I think about it, I have to comment on it. It's just unavoidable. It's so unbelievably stupid. Like, what else am I gonna do, Aelia? Just sit here all day? Like, are younger players really that dense? They really think younger players were that dense to not try to shoot the door? I mean, the door freaking blinks. Like, it blinks. Were people really gonna get stuck there? Like, why? Ugh, sorry, I have to stop thinking about it, because when I think about it, I get so annoyed by it. Like, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? I just can't. Oh. Alright, shut up, Austin. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about it. It's so hard not to think about it, though. It's so unbelievably dumb. Like, you just can't not think about it. It's impossible. Yes, there should be like a knock on door button in a Mega Man game. Why not? Have a knock on door button. You know, Mega Man's a polite individual. He's a good-hearted soul. Oh, we're gonna take a hit. I was too slow. Well, I mean, you gotta think, Game Eagle, this did come out 20 years ago, you know, when... Yeah, it came out 20 years ago, when games like these were still somewhat common, or more common than they are now. When, like, getting a Mega Man game like this in 2D was just completely normal. Okay, so let me turn the filter back on, just to play it safe. So, yeah, well, you can use this weapon here to bust these open, and we get a capsule here. X is more like the FBI. Open up! FBI, open up! Alright. And we should be pretty close to the boss fight now. And I just skip through all these things. I don't really bother trying to attack them. Not right now. When I was playing this on Twitch earlier this week, I did. And then there's Aelia again. Thanks, Aelia. For nothing. You've forgotten, Aelia. I've already saved the world like 4 times now. That's the other thing about it. It's like, On Megaman X, I've saved the world 4 times now. Oh man, I gotta stop complaining about that. Yeah, it shows you the exact amount of uses with the number under the bar. That is true. Yeah, there are some quality of life improvements in this, for sure. Definitely. Alright, so this guy can be pretty tricky later on. His early phases are actually pretty easy. He just disappears and comes back. And he's got this homing missile that you can destroy. And that is actually his special weapon that you get, too. It's not particularly useful in the playthrough, but there is actually a very specific use case scenario where you have to use it to get a capsule. And it's actually one of the more tricky capsules to get because of how the timing works on it, and you'll see what I mean once we get to it. But his second phase is actually tricky to do without taking damage. You have to really focus on him. You can get behind him in both of these instances. Now, he's got one where he shoots a laser straight to the ground, and that's the one you have to worry about. The one where he shoots the laser, you know, horizontally, it's not too bad. You can just duck. I don't think it... Actually, no, I think it... Oh, I haven't seen this attack in a while. So, one of the things about this game is you are ranked based on how well you do on each stage. And the higher your rank, the more difficult the boss becomes. And so, that pattern he did with those yellow balls of energy... I've actually rarely seen him do that. So maybe my rank has been lower, or maybe that's actually an attack he does at lower rank, and maybe he does his laser more often at higher rank. I don't know. But we weren't able to see the vertical laser. That's the tricky one to avoid. You have to basically be right underneath him if you want to avoid that attack. Bugman squashed. That's right, Office. Okay, so we killed all 4 of the bosses on the left-hand side, and now they're going to try to fire the cannon, and we'll see what happens here. Although I'm not really following it because, you know, Korean and all. I don't speak Korean or read it. I'm actually quite terrible with anything except English. Look at all this text. You can't hit start or select to just skip right through it. And it looks like it was a success, actually. We got a success. We can actually go straight to Sigma's levels if we wanted to. But we're not going to do that. Still no upgraded parts. So, alright. So what we're going to do is... it doesn't really matter what we do at this point. Let me think to myself. Can I do anything here that I couldn't do before? We can do this level, actually. Like I said, we're going to do this one to get the capsule. Yeah, that's actually quite interesting. We actually got a successful shot from what it looks like. I haven't played 20XX Clipped, and I remember you telling me about it. I do want to play it, but yeah, not yet. I haven't bought it, so yeah. Parasite, never heard of Parasite. I should actually check out some of those Korean, like, horror movies. Apparently they're really good. Some of them. So sometimes this whale here, whale ship, can spit out a couple of Reploids. You just have to hope that he spits them out when there's an opening. Sometimes he can spit them out and they'll just get stuck in the rocks and you can't actually collect them. So every time you pick up health, and shout out to Timu Asakainen, or Timu A, who pops in my Mega Man streams occasionally. He actually gave me that tip. Every time you pick up health, it slightly refills your E-Tank. I think even if you're not maxed out on health already. I used to think that you had to have full health for the energy to get applied to your E-Tank, but that's not true. Every health pickup will give you a little bit back on your energy tank. So you can get 2 energy tanks in this game, or sub-tanks, whatever you want to call them. And, you know, they'll refill your health as much health as they can, all the way up to giving you all of your health back. Parasite is more of a thriller / comedy movie. It's really good. Okay. Like I said, you could just stand and shoot it as long as it's, you know, shooting this laser. It'll be bouncing up and down. And there we go. Nice little trick, actually. Very nice little trick. All right, so we have to do the second auto scroller. Fortunately, we don't have to do the third one. The third one's only if you want to beat the boss, and we've already done that. Yeah, I really would have preferred them to have this be to where, like, you get another boss sub-weapon to access this capsule. Would have made so much more sense. It's massive oversight, if you ask me. And then you need special armor to get the heart tank, which is why you have to come back to this level a third time. I don't think it's actually possible to get another set of armor and then come here and then get both the capsule and the heart tank. I don't think it's possible. If anybody knows, let me know. I thought about it to myself when I was practicing this on Twitch this week, and I was like, I can't think of a way to do it. Unless maybe I just wasn't thinking hard enough, which is entirely possible. It's always possible with me. Oops, I dashed. I didn't mean to dash. So you can actually dash by double tapping, just like you can in the other X games. But it kind of screws me up sometimes. I'll double tap by accident and then dash. And that's exactly what happened. I dashed right into that missile. I didn't want to do that. So that was unintentional. So you have to be careful about that. That can happen to anybody. So you got to be really careful about that. I like playing with deliberation. I don't like playing, you know, doing stuff accidentally and then getting hit when I don't mean to. I don't like doing that. So now when you see me playing sloppily, like slamming into enemies left and right, that is intentional slop. It is not slop because I'm trying to play well, but I'm failing. It's intentional slop. If I want to play well, I will absolutely play well. That's how I am. So I should have demonstrated it though, but the reason I'm not using the software renderer on this level is that the frame rate tanks. I should actually demonstrate that on the third try, just to show you guys. Alright, so now we need to switch to his weapon. It's this one right here. You have to charge it up. You see that little sensor over there? You break it with ice blocks. You can't break it with anything else, even though other things can hit it. It's stupid. It's really stupid. It's so unbelievably stupid. But whatever. We got it. We got the armor piece, and now what we can do is hit select, and now we don't have to actually finish the level. We can just warp out by hitting this exit door here, which is great. Then we can save our game. Just like so. Oh, and look at that! Did we just get the Falcon armor? We just got the Falcon armor. So actually, what I might be able to do is go back to the level again, use the Falcon armor. But I'm not going to. What I am going to do is come over to, we're going to do this guy again. Let me do the fire level first, just to give you guys something else to look at. But yeah, we got the Falcon armor. That's great. I love the Falcon armor, actually, because while you can't air dash, you can actually hover in the air and control where you want to go. It's really cool. And then his charge attack is thinner, so it's harder to hit enemies with it. But it's very powerful, and it cuts through walls. So you can basically press jump again in the air and just fly all over. It is temporary, just like the hover mechanic with the fourth armor. but it is very nice. And so just like in Mega Man X5, where you start with the Mega Man X4 armor, in Mega Man X6, you start with the Mega Man X5 Falcon armor. And so when I play X6, I'll use Falcon armor for pretty much the whole game. Alright, so what I want to do is listen to Alia, because she's going to bother us again. I have to be careful here. It's very easy to get hit by this fire. It does a lot of damage. Alright, so instant kill scenario here, and we have to leave the filter on because there's a fire that's going to be going across the screen. But I want to come down here first, and then fall down real quick. Grab that one up, and then come down here. There's the heart tank. We're going to die. But we got the heart tank. It's okay. Hey, hey, there's Timu himself. Hey, I'm there. Long time no see. I think you could get both in this level. I think you could destroy the broken ceiling. Oh, yeah. If anyone knows how to break that ceiling on the whale level, let me know. Timu knows, I'm sure. In my practice sessions, I actually couldn't figure out how to break the ceiling. I tried everything. So if anybody knows, let me know. Maybe it's the Pegasus one? Hey, Chenti and Chris Bennett. Timu was like, I only speedrun the game. I don't actually know how to play the game casually. Give me a second, coffee, gotcha. Go up! That was close. Actually, it wasn't as close as I thought. I'm gonna just take my time here. Get to the next checkpoint. I think it's the electric weapon, but not 100% sure. Oh no, Alien! Thanks for the heads up! I'm glad I now know I can shoot this door. Alia. Dude, twice in a row. Why? Why? Okay, so there's a mini boss here. I'm gonna fight the mini boss, because why not? Now you can actually take this armor down below and then get another capsule, but I think I can still get the capsule with the Falcon armor. So normally I would use, you know, I would just use the 4th armor and get the armor with the, well, get the capsule with, whatchamacallit. Oh. Alia, I could have used the message for that. What the hell? You're slacking, Alia. So one thing I wanted to demonstrate, I'll demonstrate it later, but I'll turn the filter off after we finish this section. Wow, Falcon is quite terrible on this guy. That is interesting. It is quite terrible. I'm very surprised about that, actually. But I love being able to just hover in the screen, or on the top of the screen like that. It's actually very useful later on in one of the Sigma boss fights. Look at how little damage the charge shot's doing against him. But yeah, as you can see, you can actually do damage with the hover as well. It's really cool. And I'm gonna take a hit. No avoiding that. Yeah, not the capsule, the heart tank. getting it, hey, Brandon, what's going on, dude? How are you doing? Long time no see, man. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so I think I can actually hover on over here. Whee! There's our capsule. So normally what I would do is I would come here first and use the suit, the mech suit, to get up here. And it's very tricky to do so, but I can actually demonstrate it. So there's the cracked wall, or cracked ceiling, Timu. Unmer was asking if we could get through the cracked ceiling. So I'll demonstrate it right here. So you can actually fall into the lava. And normally what you would do is... not be able to jump up. You would come here. You can't jump up here, but you would go bam, and then... ooh, I'm glad I actually failed. Oh, it's not letting me jump out. Alright. I don't know why it's not letting me jump out. Let me try it again. Just like that. Now, it's a very tight timing, actually. If you don't get it just right, you'll actually touch the lava as you're trying to hop out. Oh, and I didn't demonstrate the filter. I wanted to show you that the whole transparent effect would actually disappear if you turn the filter off. Doing good, just learning new songs and guitar. Very cool, man. Some tuna salad and chillin'. It's hard, but you can use the one weapon, whatever the name is, the one that gives you the vertical boost. Okay, it must be the uppercut then. I thought I tried the uppercut and it didn't work. Brandon, we need to set you up with the Megaman X Legacy Collection on Xbox One so you can play this game. Or all these games. It's got all 8 Megaman X games on it, and the X Challenge mode, which is really cool. Ow. This is one of those guys that's pretty tricky to avoid because he's fast and he's huge. That's one of the things about these later Mega Man X games is like they made big bosses really fast, which is kind of awkward to be honest with you. Whereas like Flame Mammoth in the first game, he's pretty slow. He's kind of a lumbering beast. I mean, Spark Mandrill is kind of fast too, but there's no screen scroll at least, which is beneficial. Yeah. His armored body touches lava. Instantly dead. Yeah, I'm very happy we got the Falcon armor early. That was actually completely unintentional. But I guess that's the benefit to just doing the whole left-hand side of the playfield first. But you do need Falcon if you want to get the capsules on the right-hand side of the select screen. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Still no upgrades or anything. Oh no, the upgrades are there. So let's go ahead and equip that one. Why not? And hit X to go back. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is actually take a quick restroom break. I've got to actually use the bathroom. And so yeah, let me... give me a couple minutes and I will be right back. Oh, man. Alright, thanks for waiting, guys. Alright, so now what I was going to do is go back and get the heart tank here. And then what we're going to do is probably get the Reploid... Well, let's do this this one first. Because now we have the fire weapon, which will break through this sort of like wood plank. But also, since we have Falcon armor, we can actually get this heart tank as well. So we're going to hover and die. So the idea is they actually want you to have what's called the Gaia armor, I believe. The Gaia armor can walk on spikes. But you can get that heart tank with the Falcon armor too. You don't need the Gaia armor. I love how the Falcon armor shot just goes through objects, so I'm able to cut right through that spike. Alright, so let's switch over to our fire. And then just attack that, just like so. And that's the EX tank right there. Again, you just get more lives to start off with each level. And then, so let's go ahead and exit out. Just like so. Making good. We're actually making decent progress, all things considered. You know, despite some of my flubs in picking the wrong stage and the wrong armor and all that stuff. All right, so back to this guy as well. And again, I'm using the Falcon armor here because of the hover mechanic or the flying mechanic. Honestly, coming back to these stages the second time is honestly more fun than going through them the first time. Because notice how you're no longer stopped by Alia. It's just, you're free. You're free from Alia. Now, one of the downsides to Falcon armor, by the way, is that unfortunately, you can't air dash, so you can only do the flying mechanic. And there we go. Mammoth twice in one run. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get a PB by doing that, Timo. You might want to work on that. Oh. Alright, so we are going to have to come back here. And we're going to have to come back here as well. But we're going to do that later. So let's go ahead and start on this guy right here. Should be able to get everything right here. Hey, Phantom Photon, thank you so much for that donation, dude. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, right? If only the whole game was like this. No Alia. If you could, only you could turn Alia off. Alright, so in this one you need to shoot these bombs. If you don't, you just take some damage. Nothing too crazy. It doesn't actually stop you from getting a special part or anything like that. Yeah, this is another one of those levels where you get lots of Reploids, and there we go. Boom. There goes, I don't know, about a fifth of my health. Yeah, and if you look closely, you'll notice that every time the on-screen display prompt comes up, it's at a higher resolution, and the frame rate just tanks. It's like it was designed with the you know, DirectX in mind. And so what I'm gonna do is actually turn on the filter, because the game will crash if I try to fly up to the capsule without the filter. Hey, Surrealton. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a follow-up stream in the future where I actually play as Zero, because I don't think I did on my first stream of the game. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever actually beaten the game with Zero. So we just got the weapon tank, and what that does is it'll, by using it, once we get it filled up anyway, it'll refill all of our weapon energy. So, but I'm not going to really need that. One thing that's nice about this game is that, you know, whenever you die, all your weapon energy is refilled. Yeah, so it would have crashed right there if I flew up here without the caps. If I flew up here without the filter. It's really weird. I don't know why it does that. So we're going to go ahead and collect this, and then we're going to fall back down just to play it safe. He's a flying horse, man. Hey, Micah. Oh, nice. And thanks for the reminder. I have to practice Mega Man 11. I've been saying that for a year and a half now, and I still haven't done it on my channel. I'm way overdue on that. We'll try to get that done soon. I'll make it a point. I'm trying to catch up on stuff from I'm trying to catch up on stuff I meant to do in 2019 for the first part of 2020. Zero solo 100% is impossible in X5. Why is that? What's the deal with that? While playing Cryptid the Necrodancer. I thought about buying that on Switch. But I've actually spent enough money on Switch. I've spent so much money these last couple days. So for those of you guys that don't know, I did get another Nintendo Switch. I bought it from one of my friends and viewers here on YouTube and Twitch. And so we've been downloading and buying stuff over the last couple of days. Overspending as I always do when I get a new game console. Alright, boss time. So this guy has a couple of dangerous patterns. He's like Storm Eagle 2.0. I like Storm Eagle more though, so I would call this guy Dollar Store Storm Eagle. He especially doesn't look anywhere near as cool. So his charge attack here can really knock you off the edge. You kind of want to stay away from the edge if you can. But he's also got one just like Storm Eagle where he goes off the screen and will basically dive bomb you from all directions, except he's got more directions he can dive bomb you from. So he is actually in some ways more difficult than Storm Eagle. In other ways, he's easier. Like when he's just doing his dash back and forth, he's pretty easy to avoid. But that one, that uppercut, will pretty much knock you off guaranteed. So what you want to do is just constantly just move back and forth. I don't really care if I get hit by his diving one, like his angular ones. I think he's got these tornado attacks. You just want to dash jump over them. But he does have a lot more attacks than Storm Eagle, but I don't know. I like Storm Eagle. And there we go. Oh, awesome, Brandon. Hell yeah, dude. That's a lot of work. I did that last year on stream. No, the year before last on stream. And I think it took me like 11 hours in one sitting. I did not want to play Blood again for the rest of my life after doing that. So assuming we don't get any game crashes, what I'll do is after I beat the game, I'll show you again some spots where the game does crash. And second Dynamo fight. Let's see if we got anything else for... Yep. I actually haven't gotten this one yet, so we'll see what it does. Again, I don't know what all these items do. I know what some of them do for sure, but others, it's just... Yeah, I don't know. Three heart tanks needed. Equally as good as Doom? I can't agree there, Brandon. You need to play more Doom. That's all I'll say to that. Is you need to play more Doom. As you get better at Doom, you'll go back and play Blood and be like, Wow, this game's kind of garbage. No, I'm not just kidding. Not kind of garbage, just Blood is very mean in certain ways. So what you want to do is try to, you know, fit yourself between these lasers towards the middle of the screen, then dash left and then dash right, just like so. Oops. Yeah, we've talked about it so many times on the stream, but you know the thing about streaming is you do end up talking about a lot of the same stuff repeatedly, and that's okay. Because not everyone's been around forever, not everyone's watched the same streams. The thing about Blood is that it's filled with hit scanner enemies, where if an enemy sees you on screen, they can hit you guaranteed. And there's very little skill involved in terms of killing them, and it's very tedious. And is very, very mean and unfair. Doom is more about projectile-based enemies. You can actually see the bullets and dodge them. There's skill involved in dodging the bullets. You can weave in and out. I also think Doom actually just feels much better. Its movement feels better. Everything about Doom to me is like pretty much perfection for the era. Blood has a lot of rough spots, and some of its level design gets really bloated. Like having to find 6 keys in a level. There are a lot of Doom stages where you don't even need to find all 3 keys. 3 keys might be there. You just need to find 1 and you can exit. It's stuff like that. The enemy death sounds are really funny. I mean, I'm not saying Blood's a bad game. I think it's a great game. I still like it a lot, but I think Doom is, for me, Doom is the way better game. It's very, very difficult to beat Doom in terms of the feel and the level design and the, you know, the music and sounds, all the stuff for the era. It's just so good. I guess Blood technically does look better, but I feel like Doom's visual, like its characters do blend in much better with its environments, though. Like they feel much more natural, whereas Blood, the enemies can sometimes look like paper cutouts. Which is not particularly good. That's kind of a... I don't want to say it's a build engine thing either, because Duke Nukem 3D handles it pretty well. Although it doesn't handle it as well as Doom. I think the big issue with that is actually the fact that you can look up and down in the build engine. And, yeah. With Doom, it's just you're looking straight forward at all times, so it's easier to stay immersed in Doom, I think. Whereas the immersion can be broken pretty easily in the build engine games. Oh, man. Okay. So I'm going to demonstrate the really choppy frame rate on this guy right here. So we have to turn the filter off when we go into this stage, but I'm going to demonstrate it first. Yeah, Micah, the enemy death animations are very funny in Blood. Like I said, Blood's a great game, but it's I don't want to play it all the time. So you can see the frame rate's chopping up big time right here. And you can also see how the text overlays are in probably at least double the resolution of the main game. Okay, so this sort of like black hole type thing in the background. Ooh, look at that. Really makes everything chop up big time. See? So we basically have to turn the filter back on to make it run well. And now it runs fine. Now it does still look slow. That's just an effect of the black hole. It makes everything slow. That's just what it does. It's a part of the game. It does it in the PlayStation version too. For this part, I'm just going to fly over everything. Now there are these bats that appear, and they drop these spikes. You don't want to land on the spikes from the top, because they will kill you instantly. So you have to be careful about those. Yeah, Timo, I think it's an actual deliberate design choice. It's not like a, oh, the PlayStation can't handle this. It's like, no, the PlayStation can handle this. PlayStation's done much more. Even in the Mega Man X series. And I might actually be able to get over here without flying on this platform. That is actually really cool, come to think of it. I'm gonna actually fly up here to reset my hover. Look at that! See, Timu? I can like Mega Man X5. It's a good game. It's not the best game, but I can still like it. Timu's like, that just made my day. He said he likes Mega Man X5. Timu's a big fan of the 5s in the Mega Man series. I think Timu has something, he's got a soft spot for the number 5. Alright, so I don't know if I'm going the right way here. I wanna basically flip these a certain way because the heart tank. Okay. I need to go back and flip it again, just like so. Because now these will fall down and I can go up and get the heart tank. I kind of want to take a hit here. Okay, good. It's very easy to hit those spikes and die. And I'm slopping it up intentionally. I'm just slamming into stuff. I don't even care. Yeah, so I just got the Sigma virus. So I took some damage for that. Alright, so this part right here is where things get tricky. And you also have to leave the filter on here, otherwise the game will crash. I had that happen the other day. So you have to go and you have to switch to your homing. Not homing, but this weapon right here. And you have to control this up. And it's actually a very difficult part to get the timing just right. So we're going to probably end up killing ourselves on that conveniently placed set of spikes on the ceiling there. Because when you run out of ammo, you know, you need to replenish. And it always takes me at least one death to get this just right. So basically all you do is you fire it, then you press in the direction you want it to go. But the hitbox on the thing is so weird. Oh yes, we did it without dying. That's the first, actually, for me. Well, at least you admit there are only like 1 or 2 people on Earth that agree with you. or feel the same way. You know? Brandon really enjoyed X3. Yeah, I mean, I've warmed up to X3 as well. It's still not a favorite, but with a lot of tips that Timu gave me, I do appreciate it more. And I especially appreciate the Super Nintendo version, because it sounds better than the PC version. In Saturn and PS1 versions, not a fan of that elevator-style music they came up with for those versions. Yeah, for me, like, a really good soundtrack can save a mediocre game. And to me, X3 is a pretty mediocre X game. But with the Super Nintendo soundtrack, it's a lot more tolerable. You know, because the music kind of keeps me going. It keeps me invested. I really, really enjoy a lot of mediocre games that have excellent soundtracks. And if it wasn't for the music, I probably wouldn't enjoy the games that much. I'm not the kind of person that plays games with other music in the background. I used to do that back in the day, but generally when I play games, I prefer listening to the game's soundtrack. Because it's a part of the overall package. You know, it's like watching a movie. You know, you're not going to watch a movie and then play other music in the background. It just, you know, the music in the film was intended to go with that film. It's a part of the experience, and it's how I do video games. If a video game has a really poor soundtrack and it's just average gameplay, I might turn the game off partway through because it's just not doing it for me. It's one reason I had such a hard time getting into Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance, is the soundtrack is, it's not just like almost non-existent to me, it's actually grating on my nerves and senses. Like, it goes in the opposite direction a little too far. You know, so there are examples like that where the soundtrack is so bad that I just can't, I can't do it. So it looks like this is actually, I think this is starting our lives from 3 to 5, and I don't really care about that. Doesn't matter. I don't know what that does, but this is our high jump. So now, this is a great ability to have. It'll give us more flexibility on certain areas. Okay, so we're going to come here. This actually requires us to have the filter on as well. Otherwise, it'll crash at the very beginning of the level. Office goes, "It's Batman!" But ironically, like, once I'm in the level, I can actually turn the filter off. You notice that the water is all chunky now, because there's supposed to be that transparent effect going on. So, you know, while we can play with the software renderer, and it's a cool reason to own and play the Korean version of the game, it is not perfect. The game is absolutely intended to be played with the filter on, but I just love the fact that I can turn it off. I have the choice, you know? And normally you can grab onto these, but with the Falcon armor you can just fly straight up, which is nice. So when you have Falcon, take advantage of it. You know, you can get through these levels a lot faster. I really don't like these plants, and there are a lot of plants that... spikes that come up from the ground, like right here. These things are actually very difficult to avoid. So you really want to just let them pop out and then kill them right away, just like so. Oh, and I missed it. So just pop it out, kill it. And I'm just gonna fly over these guys. These guys have these sort of like tentacle arms that grab onto you. And so you gotta be careful around them. Yeah, that was a really bad place to stop me. You know what's funny is on my... I always forget about that. On my last playthrough, Alia actually got me killed. She stopped me right as, like, an enemy was coming at me, and then the enemy ended up killing me. Because I couldn't react to it, because Alia stopped me. Or I might have been over a pit or something. I don't remember what happened, but... that was my fault, too. I don't remember what happened, but she got me killed, and it was quite annoying. So not only does she stop the flow of the game, but she can also get you killed at very specific parts of the game. I'm just taking these guys. Alright, so this is where we use Falcon armor. We have to come on up here. Hey, Major Havoc. Welcome back, dude. Yes, filter, Adam. So look at the screen. Actually, let me grab this. Let me demonstrate it after I've beaten this level, because I don't want the game to crash. Yes, just look at the picture and look at how soft the gameplay looks. Now, keep your eyes peeled on it, okay? Look at it. Look at it. Now it's nice and sharp. So basically what this is doing is it's just doing software rendering. It's not using DirectX anymore. It's just rendering completely with the computer's hardware resources, the CPU. So nice and crisp, right? This is what we want. This is what we want. But you could hit F7 and then it goes back to rendering with DirectX and it looks super nasty. The problem is on this level, it has a tendency of crashing when you start the stage. Come on, spinny thing. I wonder if I can shoot that and stop it, actually. So we are going to have to come back to this level as well once we get the Gaia armor. And we got those spikes at the top. I just don't care about them. I will get this, though. Also, you might not be able to see a big difference with the filter if you're viewing on a phone and you're running the stream at like 480p or something like that. I am running the stream at 1080p 60, so if you can view it at that, that's the way to go. So I'm not going to turn the filter back on here because, again, I don't want it to crash at this boss and have to do the whole level over again. So we're going to go ahead and just finish this off, and then I'll turn the filter back off. I should be able to leave it off for the next couple stages that we go to. And I know I can leave it off for the Sigma stages as well, so... Now this weapon that we get from this guy, we're going to actually use it quite a bit on Sigma himself. It actually is a pretty solid weapon. I'm not really a big fan of most of the sub-weapons in this game. They're very weak. Even when you use the weakness on a boss, it doesn't do enough damage to be worth it. And then, like, I'll demonstrate it in this guy. I think we've got everything. Let's figure out what it is on him. There you go. That's sort of a weakness. Okay. Would you stop grabbing me, please? Jesus freaking Christ. Okay. So that looks like it's a, you know, he's fairly weak to that. What's nice about that is he's not actually, you know, getting stunned from it, which is cool. There we go. So notice how I did some damage, but I can't hit him again until he stops blinking. So it's like I'm better off just using my charge attack. I can do more damage more rapidly with it. And that's one of the problems I have with the sub-weapons in this game, is that the boss, like, you'll do some damage, but it'll be similar damage to your normal charge to begin with, and then their invincibility frames just last like 3 times longer when you're using the special weakness against them. So you're better off just using your main buster charged up, and that's how I play the game. It's like almost like the game doesn't want you to use the boss weaknesses. And I think I don't remember if X6 had the same problem, but I think it's a big issue in this game, and it makes me not want to use the weaknesses on the bosses at all, pretty much, so. Okay, we got everything on this level, we got everything on that level. We need to come back to this level later. We got everything on this one, and, did I get the Gaia armor? Let's see. No, go back. There it is. Yeah, we got the Gaia armor. Awesome. Okay. So, now what I can start doing... He can't actually equip any of these, unfortunately. He has no slots. But what I can do is go back to... we'll go back to this level, actually. I'll show you what the Gaia armor specializes in. Again, since we're back at the plant level, I can't actually turn the filter off. Otherwise, it'll crash the second we go into this stage. So... Alright, so Gaia armor, he's very tanky. He shoots fairly short-range shots, just like this. But you can charge up really quickly, actually, and do lots of damage. You'll notice that his charge cuts through enemy projectiles. It can also walk on spikes. And I believe it can touch spikes, too. Yeah, just like this, see? No instant death anymore on spikes. But he can actually dodge into these blocks, or dash into these blocks and push them, or he can charge and destroy them. So you can just push it like that, jump up here. You can crush some of these enemies. Now, it's cool having armor like this, but there aren't many moments in the game that are really designed around this, and so... You know, it does feel like a bit of a missed opportunity. Another really cool feature, and this was extended into the shadow armor in X6, is he can just hang onto a wall like this. I do like the shadow armor more in X6, but this is still pretty cool. When you get the hang of it, it is pretty neat. Alright, see you, John Evan. Alright, so what I'm going to do is push this down here, and then push this one over. We're going to need this to get the heart tank. And we're just going to go like that. And that's it. We've got everything on this level. We don't need to come back. Alrighty. So we got everything there. Alright, we're pretty much done with all the right-hand side, guys. So now I need to come back and do this level again. And we're actually almost done with the... Well, we still have Sigma's levels. There are a couple of tricky parts in Sigma's levels. But I do need to come back here. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and pick Gaia armor again. Oops, I was looking at chat. Yeah, no, I agree, Timu. Yeah, there are lots of missed opportunities in both of them. Totally. I think, you know, again, you and I personally have talked about this a lot, but I think X1, 2, and 4 are much more well-rounded packages, and that's what I look for when I play games like these in particular. I look for the well-rounded packages, and these definitely have, you know, X3 and X5 in particular have a lot of missed opportunities. I mean, X6 you could really call a big old mess as well. So I think X6 is a huge missed opportunity as well in that regard. But for me, I enjoy it so much more, as you know, because of all like the sequence breaking and all the options it gives you. X5 doesn't give you all those like funky options that you have in X6. Not nearly as many of them anyway. There we go, we got it. Like, X6 is not a game just like a casual player is going to be able to pick up and enjoy. I mean, it's why it's usually unanimously seen as the worst of the original 6 X games. But I like it a lot more than 3 or 5 because it's just more interesting. It is clunky and it's unfair, but again, that flexibility, that challenge is there, which gives it a ton of replay value. Speaking of which, I need to go back to try to finish Zero's extreme mode. So no air dash in with the Gaia armor, unfortunately, and I'm just tanking intentionally. Getting hit by this electrical zapper. Not too worried about it. Again, we're not aiming for perfection here. I'm just showing you where everything is. How to get yourself all those heart tanks, all those sub tanks, all those armor pieces. Pretty basic stuff. So one cool thing about this is I can actually just sit on these spikes now. So this part is actually a little bit easier. And his charge shot is so large now that I don't even have to be particularly accurate. It is pretty nice. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip him. Doesn't really matter. And we just come here. It doesn't actually take that long to get down here, so I'm not too worried about it. Alright. Now we can just squeeze our way through there. Open this. Do some dash wall jumps. And that's it. I meant to turn the filter off, by the way, after the speeder section. Turning the filter off on the speeder section can be a little awkward sometimes. The frame rate has a tendency of hicking up. And doing some hiccups, so it's not the most consistent thing. And then it's pretty much just back to our friend here again. Let me check our armor set here. Okay, we did get some extra power-ups, which is cool. Oh, we got the instant charge, which I actually want to equip. Alright, so is that my Falcon? I think that is my Falcon. So we're going to do, that should be instant charge, and then long jump. Or is that the 4th armor? No, that should be Falcon. That is Falcon. And since we got the good ending, or we got, like, the good qualification, we still have Zero alive. So we're probably going to get the good ending of the game. Spoiler alerts, Zero dies if you get the bad ending. Because this is all in Japanese, I can't tell what is the 4th armor and what's the Falcon armor. We're going to do the full charge on both of them, just to be safe. Yeah. The 4th armor and the Falcon armor look somewhat similar, so I don't play these games enough to be able to just look at the armor and be like, oh, that's Falcon. We are playing Korean. There might be some stuff that's still in Japanese. I mean, I'm guessing this was probably ported from a Japanese version of the game. Alright, so now we no longer have to charge. And I believe this actually... No, it doesn't go for... There is a power-up you can get where it instantly charges your sub-weapons as well. Or at least, it happened to us. I don't know if it was a glitch on stream. But yes, I'm pretty sure there's a power-up you can get that will... Hey, there's a Reploid. That will instantly charge your sub-weapons as well, which is actually a detriment in certain cases, because there are parts of the game where you don't want your sub-weapons charged up. There's another one. Yeah, I guess you have to just kill this guy's turrets quickly for that to happen. But yeah, Carlos, I mean, it's... I don't know why you need to question it. I mean, because you know better than this, but like, for instance, Japanese games. There are Japanese games that have a lot of English in them. That also have Japanese, so it's mixed languages. Hell, there are some North American games that still have Japanese text in them at certain parts. Lazy conversions, but it's just how it is. So, PC gaming was very popular in Korea. It was the most popular, actually, compared to console gaming. And still is. And so I would assume a lot of Japanese games got ported or got brought over there and published in there, and they still left the Japanese text in. And then, like with this game, and also added Korean text on top. So, but I'm honestly not paying attention because I don't really care. It's all moon language to me. As the Wayne channel would say. Yeah, I really like the instant charge because it means I can just shoot these guys down at a more rapid pace. Timo, if you're still out there, I'm kind of curious. Are there any particular speed strats in this game that are like really interesting to talk about? Or is running through this game pretty standard stuff? Yeah, Game Eagle. A lot of games do that too. Like voices might still be in Japanese, but it'll be subtitled in English. In English. I apparently can't talk. Like, I don't know the English language. Although Falcon armor is not going to be the best for this part, because what I like about the fourth armor is its charge attack is so big that it'll take out a lot of the missiles at the same time. So I have to actually play a little more skillfully here, which sometimes is easier said than done. It's like I have to turn skill mode on. Alright, turning skill mode back off. Click, click. Yeah, by the way, I need to play through the Assault Suit Lanos remake. I actually have it on PS4. Alright, we're gonna try this this wall thing right here. So let's go ahead and switch to, I believe it is this guy. And unfortunately with Falcon, I can't seem to charge. I can't charge it. So it might work with the charge, but it's not working regularly. Oh well, not a big deal. Oh, I just realized I used Falcon. I actually wanted to use Gaia on this level. But I think I can actually get up here with Falcon. Let's see. Whee! So you don't actually need the Gaia armor for this part. But Gaia armor does make it easier because you just cling onto the spikes. There's no risk. Alright, there we go. So I think we're actually pretty much done. We can actually go to Sigma's level right now. There are, yeah, you're familiar with the standard speedrun, which is all stages. You're friends with the record holder who also runs max %. You don't understand half the stuff in that category. Okay, so there, you're saying there is like a lot of technical stuff. That's cool. Okay, so I've actually got everything in the game that I can think of. I'm trying to analyze each stage in my head. Yeah, we got everything. So I am really curious about those wooden blocks, though, or that wooden ceiling, the cracked ceiling. Yeah. On Duff McWhalen's level. It's the North American name. Okay, so this is a quite a tricky part right here. So what I recommend doing is using your stopwatch here. The first part I think I can usually get through without using it. So I'm gonna try to save the energy, just like so. But, oh, can't fly back up. The second part though, I absolutely want to use it right at the very beginning. So this is kind of like Quickman stage. I mean, it's like a simulated, seemingly simulated version of Quickman stage. So I want to fall down as quickly as possible. There's a item refill right there. Oh no, we're probably gonna die. Oh, got it! Very nice, first try. Alright, now you have to watch out for these ones on the ceiling and floor. Just like that. Okay, awesome. You know you can get the Skyver capsule as 0 if you sort of damage boost using the Sigma virus and then jump off the spikes to the capsule. That sounds crazy. Alright, so the old yellow devil is back, except now he's not yellow. Everyone's favorite boss. What is kind of cool is you can kind of hover up top if you do it just right. And it... Come on! Oh. That's awful. Awful, awful, awful. You need to hit his eyeball. And with the fully charged sub-item that we got, it's a little bit easier to work with. Wow, it's not working there. That's very interesting. There's another phase later on where it does actually work. But it's okay. We've got energy tanks, so I'm not afraid to use them. So yeah, speaking of tedious bosses, Carlos had mentioned he hinted at a very specific boss in Megaman X5, which is very tedious, but I would argue this can be about as tedious as well, if you don't have the right weaponry. Last time I got here, I was not using the charge ability, the instant charge, and I was not using Falcon armor, and I was doing much less damage, and so I had to go through this whole pattern. I swear, it must have been like 20 plus times. It was pretty ridiculous. Now, there are other phases to this as well that can be quite challenging to deal with. There's one where he turns into a Dr. Wily-looking ship, and that one does a ton of damage to you, so it's good. If you're low on health, it's good to use an E-tank, which I might actually do soon. I don't know, we'll see how what his health looks like here. I also meant to do this way earlier on in the stage, so I apologize for that, guys. Part of the point of playing this version of the game was to show off the lack of a graphical filter. Remember, the North American version forces you to play with the filter 100% of the time. You can't turn it off. But you can turn it off in the Korean version. You just have to be careful, because sometimes the game will crash if you don't turn it off in the right places. Come on, do it. Do the Wily one. Oh my, wow. Okay, well, you guys aren't going to get to see the Wily transformation. You get to see this one, though. You can actually hover up here like this. Why is that not working? It's worked for me every other time I've done it. Oh, it's because you have to continue to hold up. See? That's why it wasn't working. And you're dead. He is weak, but it doesn't do as much damage as my charged Falcon shot. So like I mentioned, like, enemies and bosses are quote-unquote weak, but the damage output is similar to your normal charge shots, and they have more invincibility frames. So there's no point in even using the weakness. There's 0 point in using the weakness in this game. It's really an awful, awful design choice. There's no reason to. It's just like, the only reason to use it is like just to say that you've done it and you know what the weakness is. That's it. That's the only reason. It's really, really crazy, like, design choice, if you ask me. No, it's not that the game likes to troll me, Carlos. Is if you look closely at the footage, you'll notice that when I'm holding up, X actually was sitting a few pixels higher on the screen, which was just enough for me to get past the blocks flying by. So it was a player error. It wasn't a game error. And what is going on, Jules? So now there is the ultimate armor in the game that you can get, and from what I understand, the requirements are... I didn't look it up on a walkthrough or anything, but someone was telling me on Twitch that you have to play as Unarmored X and not get any capsules. So you basically have to get here as Unarmored X, not get any capsules, and then there's a little hidden room near the end of, I think, this level, where the ultimate armor appears. And the ultimate armor, I think I actually did it on my first live stream of the game a couple of years ago. And the ultimate armor has this charge attack that is just insanely powerful. It's just, sorry, not charge attack, but like air dash attack, I should say. That is just insanely powerful. And it's very, very good. But we're not going to do that. So, I want to actually fight Sigma. To show you what actually fighting Sigma is like. Because if you have the ultimate armor, you don't really have to fight Sigma. You just do a couple moves and he's dead. Alright, a little bit of a secret right here. So for long-time Mega Man fans, you'll notice that this was sort of a recreation of Sigma 1 from Mega Man X. Zero Saber Dash Cancel. Oh, yeah. No iframes from it. Good point. Alright, and this is a Mega Man X boss fight as well. Although it's more difficult here. Nice! I got that very quickly. That was good. Alright, we have a lot of spikes to contend with here. We'll see what happens. We need to hit this. It's probably just going to run right into us. Yeah, just like that. Not too worried about it. Zap it right there. Okay, good stuff. No spikes. Well, spikes on the bottom. This version of the boss fight, unlike Mega Man X1, actually will make spikes appear on the sides, too. So it's extra difficult. So I could see it, like my brother, Brandon, or Michael Mackard, who was in the chat, I don't know if he's probably not out there anymore, mentioned that Mega Man X5 was pretty hard, and bosses like this are definitely challenging. More so than the... See, whoa, like, look at that. That was really tricky to avoid. I'm glad I took a hit from this guy, otherwise I probably would have landed on the spikes and died. Like, there's definitely a higher skill ceiling in this game compared to, say, Mega Man X1 on certain boss fights. A lot of the main boss fights, I think, are not too difficult to deal with. But bosses like this are definitely challenging. What about me? I am playing some Rockman X5 on PC. That is what I am doing. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do after this stream. For those of you guys that don't know, I beat Demon Souls for the first time last night. I was debating firing up a brand new run of that, or maybe trying some Rockman or Mega Man Legacy Collection on PS4, or playing some GameCube with my RAFnet Super Nintendo to GameCube adapter I got in the mail today. So many choices. I really don't know. I'm definitely not playing Nintendo Switch because I did that the last 2 nights. I've had enough Switch for one weekend. I need to mix things. Whoa! Legacy, please. You're not even gonna be over there on Twitch. You never tune in on Twitch, Carlos. Your vote doesn't count, Carlos. Not that I'm taking votes, but, you know, if we were, yours wouldn't count. Because you wouldn't be there anyway. But thank you for tuning in on YouTube. I appreciate everybody tuning in on YouTube in particular, because this is my quote-unquote serious stream location. Where we have lots of conversation, and we actually talk lots. I love streaming on Twitch, but we do get a lot of lurkers, and so it's a lot of times it's just me sitting there by myself. Okay, so we're going to use our Falcon there, and we can fall down here, and this is where you would get the ultimate armor. But we didn't qualify it, and that's okay. I didn't really want to qualify it anyway. Torch is Lurkland. I mean, Timu knows. He streams on Twitch. Timu, you'll probably have like 20 people watching sometimes and like 0 people chatting, right? That's what it's like for me. I mean, we do have good conversations on Twitch, but it's not nearly as frequent as it is on YouTube. It's not anywhere near as frequent. You know, Twitch is definitely one of those things where people pop it out in the background. So I'm going to see if I can use my Giga attack, which kind of wrecks Zero. And I'm just tanking. Thanks, Carlos. Yeah, no, I'm gonna play Demon Souls again. I don't know if I'm gonna start it tonight or if I'm gonna start it next week, but I am gonna play it again. And then after I play it again, we're gonna stream it on YouTube. Coincidentally, just a month after I told people I wouldn't be playing the game ever again. Well, I think this fight's actually tough to do, like, with taking minimal damage. But Zero is pretty weak, it seems, at least with Falcon armor, so it's easy in that regard. But I think if I was trying to actually play well, it would be a lot harder. Just have to be unarmored X? Okay. Yeah, someone told me you couldn't get the capsules either. So, I don't know. I don't know what information's right. But it seems like unarmored X definitely is a factor, so... Okay, this is our last one. So, you know, people like to have ultimate armor or the 4th armor for this, but I've gotten into the habit of using Falcon because, just because. His hover mechanic is really good. But this is boss rush time, once we get through this section. Although, you know what? Oh man, I kind of want to do this with Gaia armor, just to try it. Don't have to worry about spikes. And again, I'm intentionally taking damage. It takes less time to just take hits, you know? Leap of faith. There's some wacky music here. Disco Megaman X. Alright, down here, and it's boss rush time. So we'll just start here. Start here, work our way over to the right. Okay, so you notice how choppy it is? I have to re-enable the filter. This is a good old Duff McWhaling again. No, it really is Resident Sleeper. So here's what I'll talk about, or I'll show you. So here's his weakness. It stops him, but look at all those iframes. And look at the damage it's doing. Screw that, man. I'm just... Especially with Falcon here, where my shot goes through, you know, the walls. Although I will say his weakness in particular is good on his second form. Yeah, you'll notice that the boss levels now are much, much higher. So he's at level 96. Which means their hit points are much higher. The bosses are probably a little more aggressive. There we go. Go into level unarmored with nothing, including power-ups. So are you talking the equipable power-ups, or are you talking things like heart tanks? That's the detail I want to know. Oh, Tima says you can have all the stuff collected. Okay. Okay, that's good to know. Oh, and by the way, I can turn the filter back on. Or back off. I'm so dyslexic with referring to the filter. I should have just kept ducking. I would have been fine, I'm sure. Dude, the game looks so much better without the DirectX filter. That's what I loved about X4. The game was beautiful on PC. But X5, I'm guessing X5 was handled by a different team. Same with X6. With X6, you can't actually turn the filter off in-game. You have to go to DirectX settings and disable DirectX, basically. Or Direct Draw, I think. And, that's how you turn the filter off in the game. But the problem is that X6 will just randomly crash for no reason. So you have to deal with that with X6. Again, Korean version. If you want to play it without the filter. And honestly, the games just, they look so much better without the filters, so. That high jump is really helping me. Yeah, see, when I think I last played this game on stream, I did do the 4th armor, and this boss rush took way less time. I'm sorry, not way less time. Dude, I'm so dyslexic tonight. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me, guys? Tell me what's wrong with me, please. What is wrong with me? The boss rush took a lot longer with the 4th armor than it did with the Falcon armor. Granted, I think the last time I got here with 4th armor, I wasn't using the instant charge, which I am using right now, which means it actually takes less time to, like, prep a charge shot. Oh, see ya, Brandon. I didn't know you're still out there. Take it easy, dude. Thank you for tuning in, man. We need to hang out sometime soon. We need to go eat Red Robin, because we both have gift cards for it that we got for Christmas. One of these Fridays or Saturdays. Ooh, that was close to getting hit by that. Yeah, the high jump really helps against this guy too, dodging his tornadoes. Yeah, maybe that's the problem, Game Eagle. It's either I played too much Megaman X5 this week, or I beat Demon Souls. Or a combination of the two. Or I played too much bad Switch shovelware last night. Hey Timu, I don't know if you... Did they use the same boss music from X5 in X6? It's been a little while since I played X6. The music is different, okay. Because when I was playing this game, I was like, man, the music sounds so familiar. Did they reuse it in X6? I felt like they did. That's cool. Game Eagle, I did. Yes, I did beat Demon Souls last night. I repurchased a disc-only copy to fill my empty case. And I fired it up last night and finished it off. Valley of Defilement was a lot easier than I originally thought. I just took my time, sniped a lot of guys with arrows, and yeah, the bosses were pretty, well, most of the bosses were pretty easy. Yeah, I think I was just so burnt out at the time and so flustered from other areas of the game that I just let it all get to me. I let all the stress get to me. Not a big fan of how this guy just like dive bombs you. He just goes straight towards you. I would say this is actually probably one of the more difficult bosses in the game as well, in terms of the randomness. And the amount of dexterity you have to have, and reaction times you have to have. Like, look at that. I couldn't do anything about that. Try to sit behind this box to avoid those lasers. Very difficult boss fight to do without taking damage. I feel like they took this boss and part of its AI and turned it into Infinity Maginian or whatever in X6. It's a very similar arena, the vertical orientation, and the way he moves around and just sometimes just dive bombs you is very similar. X5 Syndrome is playing too much Megaman X5 in 1 week. This is my third playthrough in 1 week. Oh, the wheeled skeletons, yeah. I mean, they're in the catacombs as well. Yep. Yeah, I didn't mention it. I didn't make a post or anything, but for those of you guys wondering that are into the Souls games, I did a Soul Level 1 run in Dark Souls 1. Basically meaning that you play through the game without leveling up at all. I wasn't able to do the DLC. It was too painful. But I did the rest of the game. It was the first time I've ever did that. It's pretty cool. It was fun. I could definitely see myself doing it again. Without using pyromancy. Nice. You don't remember playing a game that upset you to the point of breaking something? Yeah, everyone's different in that regard. Some people will just bash their head against a wall for like days or weeks or months and just not even flinch about it. I don't understand that myself. I mean, but then again, those people are the same types of people that are probably fine with playing like one game for half a year at a time. Like, I like to beat my games as quickly as possible. I don't like being stuck on something for more than a certain period of time, because then I feel like I'm just wasting my time. And I start getting stressed out if I'm not getting through something fast enough. But that's why I'm very much about discipline in games now. Because the more discipline I've got, the less I've had to worry about getting stressed out about not beating something fast enough. But it is something that kind of comes with the territory of like getting better at video games. Is as you get better, you start expecting to be able to go through difficult parts of games without that much trouble. Or not as much trouble as you might have used to have, say, as a kid or something like that. That's another part of it with me with these Souls games. I look at these parts and I'm like, this isn't hard, but I'm still failing. And the failing is kind of like my own fault. And that really gets me frustrated, because like, I know I'm better than this. Someone like me, like, I have to learn to just step away from a game when I'm frustrated, dwell on it, think about it, take a break from it, then come back refreshed after having let the experience sort of simmer for a little bit and sink in. Which is exactly what happened with Demon's Souls. I went right back. I died twice on Valley of Defilement as I was trying to just get warmed up. And then I just ripped through the rest of the game, I think, without dying. I beat the next two Valley of Defilement bosses on my first try. I beat the final bosses on my first try. I got through the rest of the game pretty much without dying once. So, you know, that's what taking time and thinking about it, and then also playing smart. That's also a big part. Can do. And no, you know, no stress. Calamite broke my spirit. Yeah, Calamite can be tough. I mean, if you're doing no pyro, especially on a soul level 1, man. Yeah, one of the other reasons is I just stopped on the DLC on Dark Souls. Oh no, he did it. He glitched out of the arena. There he goes. He came back. Good. I think that was because of we had the filter turned off. Yeah, this game could be glitchy in that regard. Oh, I got scared there for a second. I thought we were going to have to do the whole boss rush over again. Really love being able to jump higher now. I can hit this guy much easier with the Falcon shot. Alright, get behind him just like so. Another horizontal one. Maybe he'll demonstrate the vertical one this time. Horizontal again. Horizontal. Show us the vertical shot. More yellow balls. Gotta take a hit. Nope, got it. It's like a shmup. There's the vertical one. So you have to be on his opposite side if you don't want to take a hit. That's the trickiest thing about this boss. You're all too familiar with stressing over not being able to beat a game fast enough. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the end. Turn the filter back off. Extra life. Don't really need it. Again, you get infinite continues, and the game just continues you back at the last checkpoint. So it's... yeah. Lives don't really mean a whole lot in this game. They mean even less in Megaman X6. With how it handles its checkpoints. Alright, so this is actually a really good part to have Falcon armor on too, because you can just kind of ignore it and just float in the air. You'll float too. Alright, final boss time. Alright, so the Sigma fight, you really do actually have to know these patterns because he does a lot of damage. So a little bit of Megaman X1 stuff right here. He's gonna shoot out some projectiles as well, just like so. But sometimes I just jump over them like that. You have to really watch out for his dash, because it kind of comes out of nowhere. It is a little bit random in terms of which way he goes. Sometimes he'll just like go along the ground and that's it. Oops. And when he teleports like that, you want to get to one side of the screen or the other. You need to jump over that one, duck under this one, go between those. It's very tricky to go between them. You have to be ready to duck too. You got to think really like on your toes on this fight. That's what's difficult about it. Ooh, that was close. Almost took a hit. Alright, that was actually a really good phase 1. Hey, I don't give a thumb. Welcome back. We're almost done with the game, actually. We're almost done. 3 hours in. I was expecting expecting it to take less time, but I got like a half an hour late start into the game, and then I made some mistakes that cost us some time, but it's okay. It's not a super long stream either way. Alright, so what I like to do here on this fight is actually switch over to the plant-based weapon. This one right here, because it'll do multiple hits. Now, unfortunately, Sigma likes to disappear, and you can only hit him when he's solid. You can also try to destroy these arms, but I don't usually go for it. Now you have to just constantly move for these projectiles. Just like so. They're actually pretty tricky to deal with. So just like that. Getting some really good damage on him so far. This is why I've practiced on Twitch. Now these blocks are a pain. It's gonna go left, down, over. And this is where not having the air dash kind of sucks. Although I should have done my hover attack. And one of the issues I do have with Falcon armor, it's not the Falcon armor itself, it's that I go through the whole game air dashing, and then I forget I can air dash. So like I'll have Falcon armor and I'll be trying to air dash like I've got the 4th armor. I'm gonna go ahead and just tank through that. Let's go ahead and use an E-tank. We'll go ahead and use a weapon tank too, because I think that'll be enough energy with this. Kind of a cheap attack. Like, this version of Sigma is quite difficult. He's got a lot of cheap attacks that are really difficult to avoid. But I guess you just have to shoot his hand. Now that I've seen it. We got him. We beat the game. It's the square that is probably the worst attack that he has, because it does a lot of damage, no matter the armor you have. That was good. I'd still call that a good fight. That was a win. That was definitely a win overall. I'm happy with that. Oh yeah, Kazuya, I'm in the exact opposite. I want to go through the whole game, and then I want to play it again if it's really fun, and then I just naturally get better at the whole run as I go. I don't waste my time just starting the first couple stages over and over again. Now, games like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry, you know, they have like their rating systems, and so people want to get like the best rankings on every level, and I don't really care about that stuff. Personally, I mean, if it unlocks something better, then cool. But yeah, I don't play like that. I like to go through the whole game, soak in the whole experience, and have a good time. Which is why I care so much about like having a well-rounded package overall, because I want the whole experience to feel tidy and tight. Which ending is this? I don't know. Go look it up, Carlos. I told you I'm not an expert in this game. Go look it up. You tell us, Carlos. What ending is this? I'm gonna actually turn this down a little bit, because I'm not sure if this is like copyright claimable stuff. But yeah, that was Rockman X5, the Korean version, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. There's another Mega Man collection. Yeah, in about a week and a half, the Mega Man Zero collection is coming out. So thank you for the reminder on that. I'm going to have to check that out when it comes out. Thanks for the GGs, guys. Need those platinums? Yeah, I don't do that. Because ultimately, they just don't matter at all. It's just a number on your, you know, PlayStation account. If they gave you something in return for getting platinums, I would, trust me, I would go after platinums. If they're like, get a platinum on this game, get some free DLC, or get some here's a couple bucks on your PlayStation account, your PlayStation Network account, I'd be like, okay. But yeah, I'm not into them because they're ultimately meaningless. You know, I do like, you know, achieving things, but I don't need a trophy system to drive me to do it. If I do it, I'd rather just beat a game, just regularly, and have that under my belt than go to a different game. It makes me a much more flexible. I play a lot more games. You mean in-game ranks? Well, usually when people call trophies, they usually refer to like PlayStation Network trophies. But yeah, again, yeah, like those, such a dumbass name, but it's like character action games or something like that. I don't know where the hell that name came from. But yeah, they oftentimes have rankings. You know, Devil May Cry goes up to... The first Devil May Cry was, I think, S ranking. Then later's probably had, like... I think Devil May Cry 5 has, like, triple S's or something. A perfect run is pure platinum. Gotcha. Yeah, or like the trophy, the trophy notification or the Xbox achievement overlays on top of the gameplay itself, and it blocks important information at the most inconvenient times. Like, it's so annoying. If I'm playing a PS4 shoot 'em up, shoot 'em ups are is the genre that you don't want to have anything interfere with the screen the most. Like, It's the worst genre to have anything interfere with the screen. But the trophy message will still pop up, overlaying on top of the screen. It's like, dude, I can't even see my character now. The 1,000 bullets on screen. Yeah, so like Carlos mentioned, there is some Japanese text in here too. That's Japanese right there. I do know that much. We got an A rank. It said it only took us an hour and a half, and that's... I think that it's only counting that because... I don't know. That doesn't look right. We didn't lose an hour redoing stages over again. That's weird. I feel like that timer is messed up. Okay. So now what I'm going to show you is we'll leave the filter off. We'll go back into the game. And I believe if we go to this stage, it should just crash immediately. See? This is why I practiced it on Twitch multiple times. I needed to figure out where the game was going to crash and where it wasn't going to crash. And the problem is, if you try to run the game again, you can't do it. You have to actually restart the whole computer. Yeah. So let me reboot. So that is really cool, though. We made it through the whole game without crashing it. Now, we didn't get to play with the software renderer as much as I wanted, but we at least got through the game crash-free. Because that would have set us back even farther. Yeah, that would have set us back even farther. If you hear the airplane in the background, that's my CD-ROM drive. All right. So now, unfortunately, I have to reconfigure all my controls again. So every time you exit the game and come back in, you also have to reset your controls. So we will continue. It doesn't really matter which save spot I pick. What were they thinking? They were probably thinking stability. So we're going to come here. Apple OS got better? Yeah, I don't know. Alright, so let's turn the filter off. And then we have to actually go back and change my control. God, it looks so much better without the filter, though. Man. Okay. So if I recall correctly, I think I have to do that. No, that, and then that, I think. I hope that's right. Uh-oh. No, I don't think that's right, actually. Yeah, it's not right. Great, I messed up my controls. Alright, that might be right. Let's try it. Yeah. That's right. Alright, cool. I'm just gonna quickly go through this stage. Hey, look, Timu, I'm speedrunning now! Woo! I'm a speedrunner! Megaman speedrun! Woo! I'm a terrible speedrunner! Woo! Yes! Speedrunning! Although I can't really speedrun this part because you're just sort of stuck. I don't really find it tricky. You just do what looks best to you, and then just run with it. That's it. You don't have to get all nitpicky. Oh, actually, it might not crash here, because there's no capsule anymore. We already got the capsule. I don't know. We're gonna try it anyway. Woo, nope, still crashes. Yeah, so I was trying to play this the other day, and it would just crash all the time at that part. Every single time, guaranteed. So that's why I turned the filter back on that part of the game. So, but yeah, that's Megaman X5, guys, for PC. I'm actually kind of curious now if the American version will still run without me rebooting my computer. No, I don't think it will. Let's reboot. And then in the meantime, I will pop in the American version, which I have right next to me. Yeah, so as cool as it was having, or as cool as it is having this version of the game, I probably won't ever play it again. Because of the filter and its other issues with crashing and whatnot. There's just very little point for someone like me that already has, say, the X Legacy collection. I no longer own the PS1 version of the game. I actually ended up selling off a bunch of my PS1 games a couple of years ago. I think right after I did my Mega Man X streams on PS1. So I no longer own X5 or X6 on PS1 or X4 for that matter. I don't think I have that anymore. But it's okay because I have the X Legacy collection now on PS4, and it's like a perfectly good replacement for those. So I don't feel too bad about not owning them. But I do have the PC versions now. I have X1, X3, X4, X5, and X6 on PC. But that said, I probably won't ever play X5 or X6 on PC again because of all the problems that we talked about earlier on the nasty graphical filters and whatnot. So I do have both versions installed on here though. So yeah, so I was originally just gonna do PC X5, and then I found, you know, I wanted to get PC X6, and PC X6 was only available on eBay with PC X5 Korean. So I had to buy both together, and I actually had to pay, I think I had to pay like $60 for it. It was kind of ridiculous, but PC X6 does not pop up for sale often at all, so I had to bite the bullet on that one. Hey, Goemon, welcome back. Yeah, we just wrapped up. We beat the Korean X5. And then I was demonstrating some places where it crashes. And now I'm just firing up the US one just for fun. We're not going to really play it, but just to kind of show you. Title screen's different, which is interesting. And we can actually read what we're doing. Button configuration, so jump, it's much easier to actually figure that out. So this is actually quite interesting. The North American version is actually already configured exactly how I want it to. That's actually quite interesting. The Korean version does not. You have extreme mode as well. And now it's all in English. But same nonsense here. And hitting F7 does not give you a graphical filter option. So the Korean version as well, I wanted to demonstrate, also has some other options. Like you can get a frame rate counter. There's also like a God mode you can do. Something else I didn't demonstrate in the Korean one as well is that you can actually turn off background layers and foreground layers. It's a really neat feature. See, there's windowed mode for this one. It definitely looks better in windowed mode, but I'm already playing on like a relatively small screen. We're playing on a 17-inch monitor. I do like that they have a different starting tune with Zero. It's pretty cool. Just like X4. Much harder to slop your way through the game with Zero. Like, look at that. X Legacy Collection, it doesn't have noticeable lag to me. Not on PS4 anyway, and Xbox One, which is what I played it on. Megaman Legacy Collection has a lot of input lag. It's really bad. But X Legacy Collection, I believe, was handled by a totally different studio. So X Legacy Collection is really good. I highly recommend it. Honestly, I think it's the best way to play the games. You know, you have the least amount of load times, you got save states and all that stuff. So much more convenient in this day and age. It's like it's clear these guys were intended with X in mind. Although I guess you can duck with Zero. You got a pretty strong ducking attack. We're not going to play through the game again. I'm just kind of messing around, showing you the North American one. There's Alia. Watch out for falling blocks, Zero! It's not like you haven't saved the world 4 times already! Yay! Megaman X5! Yeah, there you go. This is the North American one. So, yeah, if anyone, you know, wants to try the PC version, this is basically what you get. Honestly, I don't think the filter... No, it looks just as bad. I was gonna say, the filter doesn't look as bad in the North American version. No, I think it's pretty much the same. But yeah, no way to turn off, no way to render the game in software mode, which is what makes the Korean version cool. But again, you do run into issues with crashing and stuff like that. Now, I'm not sure how it would handle on, say, Windows XP or Windows 2000, but tested on Windows 98 here, it's definitely problematic. So it's not ideal. It was just a fun curiosity to show off, because I bet you there are probably very few playthroughs on YouTube of the Korean version of the game, so it's nice to have that on the internet. So I'm going to archive it on my channel for the future, you know, in case anyone wants to check it out. So, but yeah. So yeah, I'm going to basically get out of here, guys. That was Megaman X5, or Rockman X5 for PC. So, hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you guys have any last minute questions or comments, I am all ears. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here. Probably go get some food. And then come on back, start streaming on Twitch. And I don't know what I'm going to stream tonight, like I said. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another run of Demon Souls. Because if I do Demon Souls, I'm going to be playing that for the rest of the night. I'm not sure if I really want to do that. I'm not sure yet. So we'll see. I thought about firing up my PC and doing some Atari 2600 stuff. I did that last weekend. I don't think I'm going to do that tonight, but I am trying to jot down lists of games that we can try out on YouTube, so expect some Atari VCS and 2600 streams in the very near future. We're definitely going to do that. If James Campbell watches this archive, he'll be glad to hear that. Yeah, so we should be able to do some fun streams with that in the near future. It'll be a good time. And yeah, no Let's Play tomorrow because we did a Saturday stream this week. But if you're a Patreon backer, go to Patreon. Darkwing Duck is up over there. Same with YouTube channel members. Check out the community tab on my channel to access those Let's Plays. early. There's going to be another Let's Play after that, obviously. I've already got recorded. It's going to be Battletoads on NES. So stay tuned for those. Next Thursday is going to be Contra Rogue Core for Xbox One. I picked up a copy of it yesterday. It got marked down to $20, so I bit the bullet, took one for the team, and we're going to try that one out as a blind stream on Thursday. So watch out next for Thursday for Contra Rogue Core. And yeah, hopefully it's a good time. Most people don't seem to like it, so we'll see. Hopefully it's an entertaining stream nonetheless. So, but let me go ahead and mute this a little bit. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. This archive will be up tomorrow. If you missed any of it, if you want to catch it, stay tuned for it sometime tomorrow, Sunday. And yeah, nothing else really to report. So you guys have yourselves a fantastic day or evening or night. And hopefully I'll see some of you guys Thursday. So until the next time, guys, take it easy.